Hello and welcome to another session of Free from the Yoke. Free from the Yoke is a Legacy Life Among the Ruins variant set in a low fantasy Russian mythology inspired setting. It's kind of a stripped down version of Legacy with a smaller set of playbooks, both for characters and houses, and a very distinctive setting that goes on with it. If you're watching this, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. The Gauntlet is an online gaming club / community. As we're recording right now, it's the 8th of April. Not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. We have an open gaming weekend that is coming up, and we have like a lot of games filled, but we still have, I think, a dozen or so that have seats in them of really interesting things that are out there. You can go to gauntlet-rpg.com and find out more about that. So we are coming in. We had some changeovers. We've had a return of another house. At the end of last session, we spoke briefly with Jesse and the Forges in Marble City, who aren't going to be here for this session or next, and we kind of talked about what they're doing. They're going to be slightly off screen. We can interact with them, we can learn some things about them, but they're going to kind of be off to the side. Josh, the church, since Darren isn't with us, the church kind of still exists as an entity in that way that Darren was kind of playing the upper people of the church as kind of adversarial and conservative. So they're still out there as a faction that can be interacted with and you can have influence over and so on. Just to remind you, our lines are sexual assault and religious persecution. Either persecution for being, of a particular religion or religious forces persecuting on the basis of a religion. Those things are off the table there. Veils on essentially fade to black on eye injuries, graphic gore, harm to animals, harm to children, sexual content, and torture. Those things might appear, but we allied and we fade to black when those come up. That set of agreed upon things is complemented by the use of the X card. We have that on the table as another thing that we can have if we hit something that triggers something that is upsetting, is problematic, hits on a phobia, or is just wildly off tone. The X card can work to that. So tonight we're going to be coming in, starting with Ekaterina in just a moment. And kind of getting a sense of what the Horse Lords have been doing. We kind of left off with a threat on the table. Some mechanical things I want to mention that are on the table that are things that we'll want to push on. I'm going to push really hard on progress or failure on the Arbiter's project. Our Arbiter needs the surpluses, and there are ways in which doom can come to that project as well, which can have consequences. So I'm going to make sure that when I'm looking at moves, I'm including those tonight. Number two, we have the Arbiter's agent as a character that's out there. In the text of the thing, it describes that as a character that you can call in to help. And it seems, based on what I'm seeing in the notes, that doesn't necessarily come with any necessarily cost to you, except that they get a little more powerful as you call them in. But they do have some abilities, and so that is perhaps a useful resource. The Arbiter's Falcon, Iljana Skudra, is out there. The other more tangible thing that you can do regarding the Arbiter and assistance is you can always use your favor to ask for assistance from the Arbiter. You roll with your favor. On your hit, you get assistance in the form of a lone surplus. On a 10+, there are a few strings attached. On 7 to 9, it's a mixed bag. And then there's some stuff about failures, but we don't really have to worry about that. It's not like you're going to fail on those kinds of rolls. So we're all good. Don't have to worry about that. So that is the thing. We are not starting with the holding court. We are continuing rolling on from things. So last time, Josh, our Horse Lords had been working over in Polsivs at the Yaya. There, I said it. I was trying to do this, trying to put my hand over my mouth as I said it. Not all the words. And you established, you made some bonds there. You also moved those raw materials. You're the first group to have delivered goods towards the project, towards that encampment that kind of lies on the border. Um, but you received word from your homeland that scouts had been moving to the south of the steppes for you checking out, and you encountered forces coming through what had been a previously closed and broken pass that appeared to be coming through. And the name of those people were the Al-Sharika. And there was a significant skirmish between your outriders and their outriders. It's uncertain how that started. But in the course of that, one of your cousins, one that had looked up and admired you and wanted to be like you, was killed in the course of that. So, Katerina, our horse lords, you're going to have advantage on your first family roll. But tell me what you're about. What are you up to? You still have needs of soldiers. And carnage is a need. Is that you have that there?
I think that's why we need the soldiers.
Okay, yes. So you're actually in pretty good shape now. You've managed to take your surpluses up. You're at +3. Your mood is at +3. If you go any further up, then you will have to roll for being just too awesome. So what do you want to start with?
I think that Yekaterina and the Horse Lords would retaliate
Okay.
against the encroachment. I think they would probably counterattack as best they could.
Yeah.
Probably a claim by force.
Yeah, I think so. We're not doing like a big standing battle. You are trying to seize essentially control of the south and that pass down there
Yeah.
as best you can. All right. So since you're off doing this thing in the to the west, who is it who leads for the military things in the homestead?
I think that there is one of Yekaterina's uncles, I think. Another one of the main royal family, but not quite the prince himself.
And if that's your uncle, is that your dead cousin's parent?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a name for this uncle.
His name is uh, Vladimir, let's just
Okay.
say.
Just Uncle Vladimir.
Yeah.
All right. So we see you take your things to bear. Your house is in good shape. You've got scouts. You've got mounts. While you do have a need of soldiers, you're not going for a big open field battle. So I don't think it necessarily is going to hold against you. So let's have you go ahead and make that claim by force house move. Roll that with advantage.
All right. So that is 7 plus grasp.
Yes, I believe so.
All right, so that is 9.
That is a 9. So on a 9, uh, you are we see your forces seize control of that pass, this side of it, but you have to choose 2 costs from that list.
I'm going to take. There is a cost to your victory.
All right.
And you cause chaos and suffering.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll just put another check mark on turmoil, bringing it to 4. growing closer to rising up above. Yes. Let me look at then the resources. What need I think you might have here. Um, I think that your people are kind of exhausted. You've come out of this fight against the empire. You've sent a good deal of people to the west, which was promised to be something great, but ended up a great deal of blood involved in that. And now you have this blood through the south. I think your people are clamoring for some kind of peace, for a time to rest and relax. So I think you're going to have a need peace.
All right.
And where is Ekaterina herself during all this? What is she up to? Is she returned back to Lacelli? Is she still staying in these lands that you've started to occupy with the herds?
She is probably uh
Were you able to
she's
get that wool? I only remember that. Don't you have a thing that you're supposed to get for the arbiter, like a flock of sheep or something?
uh I believe I delivered
Yeah,
the coin to the arbiter.
you got that, but he wanted some of those sheep, didn't he, to start some flocks, or was that something that we gave to Jesse's character?
I'm not sure, but if
Okay,
that is the
let's
case, I think
let's
it would
let's
make sense for Yekaterina to be bringing a herd back.
yeah. We'll say that you've gotten some of these uh, uh, sheep with particularly fine wool that the people that you worked with uh, in the Posle have handed you a few of these. Maybe not as many as you'd want for a full thing, but they're willing to make some cultural exchanges in the interest of peace. Um, and when you return back to Lacelli, since it's the stopover point, um, and they've now got better things set up for you to ford the river and so on. You would see and hear that progress has been made on restoring the forge of the earth. And though we're going to cut to them right now, you will also hear that your friend Dadushka is recently arrived in the city. Um, and let's pause just one second. Tormod, what do you how do you think you know Katerina? What did you have another one of those things left from the background things, or do you want to come up with something that would be a connection that you might have had? We'll kind of negotiate on this.
I do sort of think I had a character level one left. Yeah, I only had two family ones, but
Okay.
um,
Okay. What's the character one that you had?
so blank set. So be Yekaterina saved my life when a deal went very wrong. Um, and so with the other two and with the families with Voldemar, I had sort of a like personal romantic relationship in the past. But his family were the first ones that like called for my help to come aid in the rebellion. And then with Dadushka, um, Dadushka's spilling secrets he shouldn't be spilling. But his family, since he's up north, when I first came down, they sheltered and hid me from the Empire.
Hmm.
So, Katerina, what kind of deal might this foreigner who's kind of settled in the lands and has been working to build things up here? What kind of deal might you have rescued them from?
Uh, well, I suppose he might have been double crossed by the Empire in some way before they were removed from power. You know, I can't imagine they were too kind to foreign investors.
Yeah, no, not especially after I started paying for all of your weapons and supplies and rebellion and whatnot.
Yeah.
So maybe they set up some kind of sting to capture Tormod, and Katerina interceded.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
Okay.
Like that.
So in that case, then when you arrive in the city, you will also hear that Tormod is here and had oddly enough had accompanied Dadushka to the city. So I'm going to flip to them, get what they're doing, and then we'll try and bring these three lines together to at least have a chat crossroads. I believe one of the things that we had left off with last time, Tormod, was you have a move that you can do now that you've arrived in Licelli.
Which one are you talking about? Voice of the Crowds?
I am actually thinking of Long Memories.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, a new court. Yeah. So yeah, let me know, see what I know about people. Oh, my lore is terrible. Okay. Well, this will probably go great. Two of those. Where are you? Oh, Jesus. So that's a 3.
That is a 3.
A 3. This is me digging into the secrets of leaders and courts and stuff. Oh, God.
So I think that when you arrive with Valdemar, you arrive with Dadushka, and there are some foreign investors that are here, have been kind of playing the lines and working on their own plans to set up things, tradesmen from Sneadosh and so on, and suddenly a person who has this reputation for skill and contacts and deep things like that arrives accompanied by 2 very important people, and there is panic amongst them. And I think that as a result, they end up dumping projects they were working on and things, and they get out of here. And for that, I'm going to put a tick towards doom on the project.
As I've driven off other resources and investors.
Yes, they because they think that you have too much of an edge for them, because of course Waldemar,
slight harbinger of doom.
Yeah, and Waldemar has the ear of the Contessa here, so I mean you can understand why they'd be nervous. Dadushka, when you arrive in Licelli, Waldemar heads off to do his rituals and so on. Doing that's all in process during this. Nearly drowns himself. What are you up to in Licelli?
Well, first off, I think you and I need to do my change from change to being a champion.
I forgot you had a role change. Yeah.
Where I'm sent to investigate, so I'm investigating these Fae. That's the kind of thing I'm looking into. And I need to come up with 3 things, and you tell me one of them that is just not right.
Okay. Well, tell me the 3 things.
All right. 1, I think that the Fae, once released, will be allies to the land, friends of the teachers. 2, I think once the Fae are released, they will have considerable influence over the actual politics of this country, as in they will influence in a temporal fashion. And 3, I think that their power is linked to the land, as in they draw from the same source the teachers do.
So these possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you one that is definitively not true. The other 2 may not be true, but I'm going to tell you one that is definitely not true. There is no way on God's good earth that they are going to be allies.
That's a shame. All right. Well, that narrows some of that's very helpful.
Yes, I thought it might be. I thought it might be the one that gave you the most definitive direction there. I imagine that you've been kind of asking around. Probably they're old because this used to be, a forger city and so on. They're old records and things like that. Maybe even outpost of your own people, things hidden away. And you've been going through that. And we would see an evening where you come back maybe a little bit disturbed by what you've discovered, and Tormod is a little more frustrated, angry that his attempts at business contacts here have been thwarted repeatedly, and the two of you are of course your guests of the Contessa, and one of the household servants would come to you and would say, and notably says, Lord Dadushka, Master Dadushka.
Yes.
Lady Ekaterina of the Horse Lords has arrived.
Oh, that's marvelous.
I have told her that you are here. Should I bring her here?
Oh, of course, if she would care to come. It is always a fortuitous thing when Ekaterina and I cross paths. I can't wait to hear her stories. Where's Tormund? Oh, my goodness, he absolutely must hear what Katerina has to tell.
And Ekaterina, the seneschal of the household, comes down. You've now met with him several times, and he says, it's good to see you again, Lady Katerina. I will have your horses tended to and your followers provide a place for rest and sleep for the evening. Master Dadushka would love to have a chance to speak with you before you retire for the evening.
You're muted, my love.
Yeah, Ekaterina is more than happy to go along.
Okay. Takes you upstairs. The seneschal brings you into the room. A table's been set up. Good roaring fire. There's food on the table. The seneschal sets out another bottle of wine, and you will see Dadushka, and you will see Tormod.
And I will move over directly to welcome you in.
Katerina, again, describe for us what you look like when the doors come open. What do we see again?
She is dressed for the road very clearly. She's in traveling clothes. They're dirty. She's been riding for days. She smells like a horse, probably. Definitely, she's certainly not presentable.
Okay.
But she looks the part,
Mm-hmm. And Dadushka, you're kind of that sort of wild man outfit.
I'm in the kind of Laplander style, so there's color to it, but it's faded. It's clear that I don't change my clothes very often. They're probably older than Yekaterina, and he's hunched and has that kind of, he has that weird, almost kind of insect quality of being bent over, but he scuttles around. Oh, Yekaterina, so good to see you.
It is good to see you too, old man.
And I'll rush up and kind of extend the arm of friendship. Might even go for like a the kind of pull in and pat on the back sort of greeting.
Yeah.
And when the camera comes over to you, Tormod, I know you dress a little more sort of dress locally, but kind of play it down.
Mm-hmm.
There's some markers of your house. What do you look like again physically?
So Tormod is fairly tall and thin, sort of angular. But yeah, he dresses very much in a local style, but it's like obviously all of his clothes are pretty new to brand new, not much wear on them. But in that local style, like all of the fabrics are patterned with this like sort of flowing triangular like Triforce sort of symbol, which is like the Novgorodi like national sort of symbol there. He also has a bunch of like ostentatious jewelry on, which is all sort of odd because rather than being the fanciness of the jewelry being in like faceting, they're fairly flat planar jewels, but they have like these really intricate etching and like carving work into them. And he has like light sort of blue gray eyes, which are normally on the piercing side, right now on the very like burning and upset side, but his face is very like happy when he sees that it's you, and you don't get the sense that that anger is directed towards you. He's just had a shitty day.
Can I ask, do you have a pet monkey?
Yes. I think I have to.
You have a pet monkey?
I do. The
You have to give the
Steplords,
context to this, yes.
the Steplords were sent on as an expeditionary force by the Empire to the fantasy Mediterranean at some point, and when they returned, they brought back monkeys who had attached themselves to the supply chain.
Amazing.
And now a lot of them have monkeys as pets.
And I think I'll flick something out of my pocket and hand to your monkey. And, I imagine I've seen it in the past when we've been together and kind of hand off. Oh, Katerina, I know that you were going off on a great adventure. How did it go?
Well, it went well enough, I suppose. We crossed the river, we found the land, and we talked over the people there to let us use it as more grazing places for our nomads.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful to hear.
Ekaterina, it is good to see you again. I have to say, this city has not been the most welcoming one that I've run across, so it's nice to see a friendly face.
It is good to see you too, Tormod. I'm glad that this empire does not try to kill you quite so openly.
I do prefer it when they take their time and sort of back channels. It's much more polite, I think.
Makes my life easier too.
What brings you back here, Katerina?
Ekaterina looks out over the city and she goes, I'm bringing back herds for the Arbiter. He wants proof that the expedition was for good reason and not just a diversion of forces, which I do not agree with, but I do what he says.
Don't we all? Well, do you plan to stay here long? Are you personally having to transport sheep?
Well, it is a gift. It is only fair that someone of good birth is there to deliver it.
Yes, exactly. A load of sheep delivered by a commoner is just dirty livestock. But a load of sheep delivered by someone respected and great is an amazing gift.
Well, Katerina, I'm going back down south. The danger that I spoke to you before, it only grows.
Are you asking for my help?
I am always happy for your company.
Well, it beats herding sheep.
I'll be quite frank with you. I fear that the Arbiter is walking into a considerably larger problem than he thinks.
What do you mean?
The Empire was keeping these forces, these Fae, in check. They are a natural part of the land. They are not our friends. The Empire had means, power, that I don't fully understand. They were able to confine them, able to make them slumber. With their departure, they wake. it could be very dangerous for us all.
As I understand, Sneadosh could be a great prize for your new land here. Great boon to trade. Perhaps there is some way to emulate what the Empire did? A way to pacify them, or perhaps to talk to them, to work out a deal with them. A trading partner.
Bargaining with Fae is dangerous. Only a fool would do it.
They are not natural. They are not natural-born merchants. That is certain.
I wish to find out more about them. I've nearly mined the entirety of this place. Going down, speaking with the Sneadotians will give us a bit more. But, well, Katerina, you know I have a habit of getting myself into trouble. Your strong arm and, too much, your silver tongue. Well, the three of us together could probably find out a great deal more.
How could I ever say no to you?
It tends to set up things where you can't.
Well, then, perhaps we head out in the next day or two. I imagine Valdemar will give as much hospitality as possible, but time is of the essence.
Yeah, Yekaterina nods.
So we cut to the evening. Time passes. There might be a moment where we see a figure that we've seen before walking the halls of Licelli, that Fae who has bound Waldemar to him, who has given Waldemar everything he wants, who moves around these walls looking and listening. But that's not something we have to worry about right now because you guys are leaving. So in the morning, you will gather yourselves together.
Lowell, before we leave,
yeah.
I'm interested to know, can I make an Unearth Forgotten Lore to see if I can mine this place for what it's got?
Yeah, let's give everybody a character move or two here. Let's do
Okay.
that. So investigate a landmark ritual. Certainly there's some things here. Let's have you roll with lore.
All righty. So, rolling with lore. I got an 11.
Got an 11, so you get 2 questions.
And I get an extra one because of my character move. And I get some extra choices on that.
Ooh.
So, I'm going to start with... I'm trying to... I'm looking into the Fae influence. That's obviously what I'm trying to study here. So, what vision do I have about its past?
Well, one of the things I'll remind you is that that while the Empire kept the Fae down, like continued on, that it was your old gods that have kind of passed on that originally bound the Fae, and they have left, with the exception there is that walker behind the woods who you heard of last time, and there are a few others. And you also heard that there are items, weapons that need to be brought out for the Fae. So let me frame that up as the starting thing, and then now let me have you ask that question again.
What visions do I receive of the past, or what do the spirits show me of the past?
I think the spirits will show you the forge here, since you are in this place, and you will see at the bottom of that forge, and it takes you a second to place it because their skin is kind of like a patina, coppery, green, black. And you see this figure with this hammer, and you will realize that it is Viadomos, the smith god, who those chains that you've seen before in your visions, forging them, and they're forging them here, like this place, even before the builders made it into their forge, was a divine site for this.
How could I draw on this power?
I think that some of the things that might have been weapons before may not be in the proper shape to do them, or may be lost. If you can find the materials, this may be a place to make new weapons or reshape old things to what you need.
Okay.
Does that seem like a good, reasonable answer?
That does.
Okay.
And my final one? What dangers is it hiding?
The Fae are already here in the city. Their influence already hangs over like a pall over everything here.
All right. I have action to do after that, but I'll
Okay.
let you move on.
Tormod, is there anything your character wants to do before you head out the next day, or the next couple of days? If you have a day or two to plot and plan.
I have something I want to do. I'm not entirely sure what it'll fall under, so I'll just describe it and then we can talk about it.
Okay, sure.
But like I talked about, I did not come down here with very many Novgorodi natives, and so I need to build up favor in this land to get people. And my interaction with Lady Segalin last time just sort of drove home that I didn't have the man force to stand up to her.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to find somewhere in the area, one of those little duchies or something, that rumors of people being unhappy or mistreated are coming out of it, somewhere that I can point to after we finish this trip, to go and help them get some goodwill, build up some people to help me in this place.
I think that's read the wind.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you are activating. Essentially, you're standing at the fulcrum point for that house move.
Okay. Yeah. So roll reach. Ask one of these questions. Yeah. So it'd basically be how do I, in my own way, get a surplus recruits?
Okay.
I think is sort of what I'm looking for there. And my reach is the bad one. Yay! All -1s this session.
Let's look and see now. You could always call in a debt if you want to. No, it looks like that you have to get them to help you on something. But let's go on.
I do have influence over the forgers, and we're in his city.
Yeah, do you want to spend that influence and I'll give you advantage on it?
I would like that.
Okay.
Let me grab a new die. Oh yeah, that's real auspicious. And just grab that new 1 that I rolled and pull it over.
Oh yeah.
Well, it has to roll better than that.
It didn't. But my other 2 were a 9 -1 is still 8.
Still an 8. So that still gives you a question here.
It's so where can I find a recruit surplus that I can go aid and turn to my cause?
I think I'm going to let you actually still mark it on the map here, but let's say south of that river that comes out of Lacelli, above Sneadosh, sort of anywhere from there all the way over to the Kurgan, in that space. Find us an area, and it's called Azdabiak. And Azdabiak is a region that is overseen by one of these adventurer lords, who is particularly wound up in his own like folly, like he is still an adventurer, and he still like that's his concentration, and he hasn't proved himself to be a good steward of the land, and he's a little off-putting, so he hasn't been able to draw to him things. He is essentially, he would have been the barbarian in the adventuring party, and he has not overcome that, and so that is the region that you're like, this place has potential. Tell me something else about Azdabiak.
Sorry.
Sure.
Um,
I'm going to make it just a tiny bit smaller, if that's okay.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, make it a little bit smaller. Like that. How's that?
Yeah, it's fine. Just trying to get it where it looked like it was coming out of those mountains. Everything I click is something.
All of us, we just like, oh yeah, we'll just put this. It's one word, but it's 6 inches long across the map. Because we didn't have you when we first did the map, Patrick.
If you only, I could have edited everything. It would have been beautiful, amazing, and much more colorful.
I'm also amazed. There is a piece of text on the thing of a different font, and you haven't changed it yet.
What? Where is it? Give me that. I see it.
So tell me something else about Azdabiak.
Just looking at the forgers. Okay, nice. So I think this used to be a city that was famous for like craftsmen, beautiful work on stuff, maybe like wood and leather.
I'm gonna X card that just because we have so much other craftsman stuff with the forgers and stuff. So maybe
that's what I was trying to build off of there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe food or some other kind of art or craft, not like a material craft, something else.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay. Well, why don't you take a look at the other list of resources. We'll do this real basically. What other resource besides recruits might be found there?
Well, if he's all about adventuring, maybe there's like a stockpile of weaponry there too that he's keeping locked up.
Perfect. Yeah. Go ahead. You can put that in there. Yeah. So you hear about the and we'll just call him, rather than give him a name, the Lord of Azdabiak. Just like we call Lacelli's leader, the Contessa. You hear about that, and people are certainly the rumors in the wind is that there's an opportunity to be had there for a sharp thinking person. Ekaterina, what is it you want to do before you head on this expedition? Your second in command looks at you and says, I have to take the sheep, don't I?
Yes, you have to take the sheep. Yeah, I think she sends off I think she splits the scouts that are with her,
Okay.
and sends half of them off to bring the sheep to uh, Bharat Vichy fastness, and then the rest she's going to take with her to Sneadosh.
Okay.
I don't know if there is an action that really she is taking
Okay.
right now. I think.
Sure, absolutely. That seems reasonable. So let's bring the group back together. We know that Ekaterina has sort of in the provisioning thing, definitely has her scouting followers with them. Is there anything else sort of unusual that people might have beyond, the usual weapons or armor or things like that we want to kind of declare? Any followers or transport or anything like that you have with you? What about you, Dadushka?
Are you're asking in general?
In general, yeah. I know what Katharina has. She has the scouts, the followers. I want to know what you might have with you.
I've probably, due to how I've been traveling alone.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have, and I don't know how big a moment this needs to be, but I'm going to try and get Yekaterina and go to the forge a moment, kind of, even if I have to enact my ritual to kind of be hidden-y to get there. And I'm bringing out the spear, my weapon of legend. I'm guessing like I have the head of it, and there at the forge I get it on shaft, because my idea is as we get there, Yekaterina, we go into a place where it will be very dangerous, and the weapons of the past, well, they had great power. These Fae, they will respect that. They will fear it. I have something that I think you could carry as we go into this situation. And I'm going to put the spear on a shaft, and in the forge, bind it on. And as I hand it to you, there was a great warrior. They called him Fairhair. He once united the land and the people. Katerina, I can think of no one could wield this weapon with honor more than you. You're muted, my love.
Yekaterina kneels respectfully, and she says, "Thank you, Dedushka. It is a great honor that you trust me with this."
We go into peril, and you volunteer to do it with me. I appreciate that. And I'm handing it over. I think the key off whatever big thing it's going to get to do will probably be later along in our story. But looking at it, it does a great thing. You tell me what's horrible about it and what great things it can do.
Well, it sounds to me like you're enacting a ritual.
All right.
Does that seem like a reasonable way to read that?
Certainly. I mean, the thing itself is, let's see.
What the question is, what is it you want it to do? This thing that you're doing, you're infusing this item with this ritual significance. What is it you want it to do?
Okay. Let's see. The greatest treasures can come out of storage once per age to do an impressive feat. Effects and costs determined by you. But
if you're using that one, then we don't even go to enact a ritual. You just tell me what that does.
Right. Well, no, you tell me. I'm just thinking it's going to key off at a crucial point. I'm just doing the making it and handing it off.
Let me look at this move real.
You'll have to look at the house moves that give to see the full description, not in my character sheet.
Yeah.
In our greatest treasures.
According to the spear. And the once per age is that a tradition or is that?
No, it's, let's see, when you get down to my assets.
Okay.
My last asset is what are your greatest treasures? I have the words of power and I have the spear, an ancient spear, heirloom of a warlord lost to the past, and bring a treasure out of storage once per age to accomplish an impressive feat, effects and costs to be determined by the GM.
Oh, okay. I'm missing that last part, so I'm not sure. Is that's also under assets?
Yes, it is. Like I say, if you look on your...
It's E55 on the house playbooks.
Right, house playbooks, but not on my house, my personal house. You'll have to go over to the full house playbooks.
Okay. I see.
It just got cut off in the...
Oh, I see what it is. E55, okay. Okay, let me think about that. Yeah, that's going to be. Let me consider that.
Okay, and again, I'm figuring it'll come up in the moment when it's useful. I'm just doing the setup for it to be there.
Hide that again. Okay, let's take 5, and when we come back, we'll kind of move ourselves forward. To where we need to be in terms of resolving Sneedosh and where resources are going to go from that point forward. Sound good? Take 5. So we're going to take up on the road heading towards Sneedosh. Again, there are tradesmen that go back and forth between Sneedosh and here. And the thing has been is that Sneedosh gets trade from the further south, and those goods have supplied it enough, and that's the reason why they haven't kind of wanted to join with your country. Valdemar has worked against that, has kind of undercut that, so there's been some changes there. But the reason this whole Fae thing started is that what keeps the Sneedoshi sort of apart is that they honor and acknowledge the Fae and apparently have more interactions with them and so on. And it, there are rumors to why that is, whether there are changelings in the family line or something else. But definitely Sneedosh has always been regarded as a strange place. And the 3 of you, along with these riders, the scouts of the Katarina, are heading down south. Coming around those woods, trying to make your way to that way station that has just been set up, kind of as a trading post between Sneedosh and your country. And we take up. And the fog has lain thick this morning. You got up, and it was heavy, like a blanket. And you waited a bit, but it didn't rise up. But you had to get moving. And so you've been riding at a cautious pace through this. And as the group of you ride, still not seeing landmarks around here, you will finally kind of hear the creak of like a bridge or a dock up ahead. That sound when wood is pushed by water, and you'll see up ahead a glow. And as the three of you approach, and kind of the fog lifts a little, you can see that there is a tiny dock. There's a boat, but even before the boat, there's a like a tinker or tradesperson. They have the cloth laid out on the ground. They've got a light there, and they're kind of sitting and waiting. And this older gentleman will hail you. Oh, good nobles, good nobles, good nobles. Perhaps you would deign to give me a moment of your time, and perhaps I might have some goods that you might need on your trip. I do not have much, but maybe perhaps there might be something that you might need.
Oh, a tradesman. Oh, well, of course, please show me your wares.
I have but 3 things, good sir.
Oh, 3? Then they must be all exception.
I have this lamp, finely crafted, beautiful. Can take oil in it. It will light and keep the glow to it. I have this fine knife, cuts, sharp, well made, bone on the handle here. And I have this loaf of freshly baked bread. Which would you like, good sir?
Well, I must admit that I am always a seeker of light in the darkness. How much for this lantern of yours, sir?
What would you give me, sir?
Well,
as you can see, I am but a side of the road salesman, so I must take what I can from such a people as you. I'm sure whatever goods you would offer me would be more brilliant than I would have.
I look through my pockets. I don't know if there's much in the way. I imagine I have, like some little bits of money, but I think what I come across as I'm, going through my bag is the now empty urn, which I took the waters up north in. And it has served its purpose for us. Perhaps it has another place to go. And so I'll pull it out and perhaps a trade. This has served me well.
It is a thing of potential. There's nothing within it, but anything might be put within it. So yes, sir. Please, I will trade this lantern with you. You two fine gentlemen. I have but a knife and loaf of bread. Would either of you care for one of these things? Or perhaps you will pass on. You do not need these things.
Gentleman and lady, I must tell you, despite the armor.
Narrows his eyes. Now that you say that, my apologies, good lady. I did not see. I could not tell. You are such a striking and dangerous figure that I could not read your visage as well as one might.
Ekaterina sort of leans down off of her horse and says, I will take the bread.
And certainly it is fresh, it is delicious, perhaps a little bit crunchy. What is it that you would offer for the bread?
What is it that you would be interested in for the bread?
What do you have? As I said, I am stuck here as I am.
Ekaterina, what would you have? Ekaterina she reaches into her saddlebags and she pulls out a horseshoe and she says, This, you put it over your door or your tent covering. It keeps spirits out. It's good luck.
But right side up.
Right side up.
Ah, all right, all right. Here you are. This bread. When he hands it to you, it's still warm.
Yeah.
And he turns and he looks at you. You have come a very long way, haven't you?
I like to travel and see different parts of the world.
I have but a knife here.
I'm afraid I don't have much value on me. I suppose, would this do? And he like pulls off of his pinky this like giant sapphire on a ring sort of thing. Tosses it to him.
It is a pretty bauble. Yes, yes, I think it would do most kindly. Let me allow me to hand you this knife then. And he takes it very carefully and he makes sure that he hands it to you, handle side first.
I think Tormund he grabs it and sort of unexpectedly for his fancy ways, like he does a couple of like flips with it and sees its balance and sort of eyes it knowingly before he slips it into his belt.
He says, "Well, I think the boatman is ready for you."
Good luck with you, tradesman.
Oh, and to you as well. And he lays and brushes down his thing, and he kind of looks at each of the items, and he will look, and you'll see that there is a man on the dock who is kind of gesturing for you to come forward.
Come, it is good luck for us to find a tradesman as we head off.
I'm glad it's good luck for us, because it certainly wasn't good shopping.
Like you don't have more.
And the boatsman says, "You wish to cross?"
Yes.
Ah.
Yes, please.
2 coins apiece, horses included.
Oh, that's quite a deal.
And you can tell, the boat is, it looks like it's going to be tight for all the horses and you.
Ekaterina, your horses won't have any problems on this, will they?
My horses are smarter than most of the people who ride this ferry. I think that they will be fine.
Of course. Well, then the lady will be paying.
Yeah, Yekaterina pays up for her little herd.
Okay. Carefully counts up the coins, puts it in his pocket, and loads all of you onto this essentially slightly raised flat boat. Now the water is kind of right up at the edge of the boat as he pulls it across. The fog is still around you, and the water is shockingly still as he pulls you across. And he will get you to the other side to a small dock there, and he will disembark you, and he will say, "Stay to the path."
Thank you, sir. Let us be careful. I suppose we'll set off.
Yeah, and you will ride for a bit along, and this path will take you for ways. Again, the fog along with you, but the lantern seems to keep it back. Like the light of that seems to carry and part that mist. And you ride for a while, and there's a bit where, as you're riding, you grow hungry. It's mid-morning, but the hunger seems to gnaw at you as you go along here.
Yekaterina cuts off a slice of the bread and I think starts eating it.
It is still warm and crusty as you bite into it, and it definitely curbs the hunger of the dead that pulls at your stomach there.
Yeah, she passes out a slice to her comrades.
Still
Oh,
warm,
thank you.
almost tastes like it's buttered.
Oh, this is exceptional.
I pull out a small tin of like incredibly disgusting salty fish to put on the bread and like offer you some. It smells foul.
Oh, well, thank you.
And you will ride along until you see that the path continues, but there's also looks like a figure seated on a stool, and you can see that there's sort of a hill behind him, and what looks like a door built into the hill. And this figure kind of looks and stands up as you approach. And you can see that he's armored, kind of a brownish, brassy armor. You can see that there are antlers coming out of the helmet there. And when he stands up, he's a good 7 feet tall.
Beware, my friends. I do not think we meet a simple stool sitter here in the middle of the road.
I didn't think any of you Southerners got that tall.
Very few do. Greetings, sir.
Greetings to you. Take your horses, take your men, continue along the path. You have no business here.
But where's here?
It is where it is.
Fair enough. And you?
And I what?
You just stand here to warn people onto the path?
I am the gatekeeper.
I look around for a gate.
That door behind him, he seems to be referring to. The court must not be disturbed. You must move on.
Can I roll a move?
Yeah. What do you want to roll?
Could I roll my long memories to see if I know anything about this court?
Yes, let's have you do that.
Oh, so right. Everything is -1. All the things I want to do are -1.
But people can help you eventually, right? Call for aid.
Computer, come on. There we go. All right. You and you. Nope. Do it. Okay. Yes. Reroll. Well, shit. That's a 12. -1 is 11.
So what does the move say?
When you enter a new court, roll lore, 7 to 9, name one secret of the leaders and an enemy of theirs. On a 10+, you've helped one of those parties in a major way. Say how.
And this figure looks at you and he says, "Is that a knife?"
Pull it out and sort of flip it up to show him.
My knife is broken. Will you trade me for that?
What would you give me in return?
What do you wish, Tormod?
I simply want to know who the true enemy that you're guarding this gate against is. So I hand the knife, like handled first, towards him.
Memory? Time? forgetting those things. Keep them from touching the court that lies below, the last bits of them before they pass on.
I've always heard that memory and forgetting, they have little to do with the dreams that lie in these forests.
Hmm. Do you want to see?
The court?
Yes. You
I've
give
come
me
very,
this
I've come
knife.
very far to pass up a rare opportunity like that.
You must not bring any of them out.
Would they leave?
He turns and you see him take these big ring of keys from his side, and he unlocks this lock and he pulls open this door, and there's kind of a cold wind that comes out. And he says, I do not think you will need your horses down below. Your men may stay with them here. They will be safe. Though opening this door may call to those who do not wish it to be opened.
That may be, but we've entered by your permission and with your grace, so
Oh, I'm not
how
talking
could
about,
anything we do be wrong?
not talking about them below. Please. And gestures to these spiral stairs that seem to go downwards and into the hill.
Adushka will look over to Yekaterina and kind of look to the spear on your saddle. If you look like you're planning to go down with Dorman, and kind of give you this sort of, you should take that look.
Ekaterina?
Yeah, I think she will bring up the rear, but she'll follow.
And you will walk down these stairs, and they spiral around. The lantern lights your way. Outside of the lantern, it is darkness. But it will come down, and finally at the bottom, there's kind of a glow. And you will see this, maybe it was a courtroom or a ballroom or something like that. It is decorated, but everything is covered in gossamer, cobwebs and dust and so on. And you can see that there is a throne, and there is a figure seated upon the throne, and there's a lesser throne with another figure seated beside them. And there are other figures at sort of like in their own chairs in places and positions of importance. Like this is a court, but they are just covered in cobwebs. They are echoes and dust, but there's still something left of them here.
Be careful. We walk amongst ancients. Touch nothing.
Tormund walks forward towards the thrones, and does a sort of like one knee kneel down and says in Novgorodi, I give thanks and welcome to the dreams of the ancient ones. We in the north still hold your memory in ice and crystal. It does me great honor to see you here.
That there's that thing where like the spectral kind of head, they're kind of, now they kind of get close, they look like corpses, undead, kind of drawn, but spectral. And this figure will look at you and will say, I know of the north. I know of the names we were held in there. Why? Why have you come to this place?
I come to see and learn and find if there is a way for the impoverished people of the lands to make a small profit here. An improvement in the world.
Coin and wealth and so on, all these things that drew the eyes away. Let me hear from your companions.
Turn around and say, do we have a name for this place?
For this place you're in, the court?
No, for the place where these people live.
Our kingdom.
Our kingdom. No, I've asked a couple times, but that has not been decided yet. No.
So I turn around and say in the language of the kingdom, they would have you approach.
I look over to you, Yekaterina. Do you look like you want to go forward to speak, or are you holding back?
I think Yekaterina is holding back.
Then I will approach. Great Lord, we are all servants of the land. I come here because circumstances granted me this opportunity. I wish to learn. That is what we teachers do. We learn and we teach.
What is it you wish to learn?
I wish to know why it is that this land seems to be feeling your presence so much more strongly. Why?
Didushka, you have misread the situation.
That I wish to learn what I have misread.
You think you stand in the court of the Fae, do you not?
It was my thought.
No.
Who are you?
I am Erojni, god of the sun. Fated as I am.
I will drop down to a knee.
Viadomos stands there. Leshik, Zegos, Pomisi, Wozni, all around you. The shades that remain here in this world. You wanted answers. You fed the river, and the spirits led you here.
Come home to us.
No, we are dead. We're gone. Our memories are shadows.
How could we continue without you?
We are entombed. How would we ever walk free from this place?
We will spread your word. We will spread your name. Do not abandon us now when we need you most.
We were abandoned long ago.
Ugh. We were fools.
Fools everywhere, even where this Tormod lives. My brothers and cousins fated there as well.
I'll look back. Go ahead.
Go on.
I'll look back towards Yekaterina. If the heroes arise again, if there are others who bring your names to glory, you return to us or your like.
There is our like, the one who walks behind the trees and the others who remain. And you'll see the woman who is at this side of this, the sun god will kind of reach over and will touch and like bows and says something to him. Hmm. Who is the one who has not spoken?
Ekaterina steps forward and kneels and says, "My lord, my name is Ekaterina. I am of the blood of the horse lords, and I am here to bow before you."
Badash's progeny. And gestures over, and you'll see a figure that looks like the old pictured in your myth of the god of the horses and the tamer and the huntsman.
Yeah.
And you bring a toy with you.
It was a gift from a man I respect very much.
You'll hear a voice like the earth's off to the side, and you'll see the figure he gestured at as Viadomo say, "Well, bring me the thing."
Ekaterina steps forward with the spear and offers it.
Oh, this is a truly terrible shaft. Ugh, such poor workmanship. And he's you see him kind of working with the spear there. And Tormod, you will notice that these figures are all kind of murmuring and talking with one another. But you will notice that there's a figure that's kind of been moving around behind the chairs that now will kind of catch the corner of your eye, and you see this child that is walking around behind the others. The others don't seem to have noticed Tormod.
Try and like catch the child's eyes.
Yeah. Kind of see it, kind of catches your eye, and you see it does this thing where
Yeah, like maybe I could find a moment when they're all focused on Ekaterina and that spear going forward.
Yeah.
Just sort of like it's paining me to be down on my knees this long. Stand up and sort of stretch and just wander casually over to this. Fly casual.
Approach, this figure kind of looks and gestures. Tormod.
Afraid you have me at a disadvantage.
Take me from this place. I am not like these others. I'm not a ghost. I'm not fated. I was dragged down when the sun fell beneath the hill. Came here. They spit on coin. They roll their eyes at a fair exchange, a trade, a barter, and so on. I do not.
Then, as a fair barter, he'll reach to one hand, pull off a larger ring than the one he threw to the merchant, hold it out to the child. For your name.
I must. And we'll take the ring, and I am Palmacy, the god of merchants and bargains.
Know anything about that?
God of merchants, bargains, and also maybe swindling a little too. You will need my spirit out in the world to fight against the Fae.
I would say we of the North have been having problems with people not upholding their end of the bargains they made with us.
Then you need to make your bargains more carefully.
And you could help us with that?
I will gift you with secrets where you can find the things that you desire so that you might gain the favor of this man who rules the land. And if you take me out, my spirit will hang over. I may be called upon by those such as Dadushka. He dragged you, a man of material goods, down into the mythic land, into this hero quest. Did he even tell you you would be walking in magic?
Well, one goes to view the Fae. One doesn't expect an entirely mundane trip.
Fair enough.
I have a sort of situational mechanics question here.
Sure.
So I have, my I figure like a half dozen followers with me. I have couriers, my outriders, who are hardy and shadowy.
Mm-hmm.
And shadowy talks about them showing up in places they shouldn't be. But I'm willing to accept that, like, a mythically guarded gate is enough to keep them out if you want to do that. So would I be able to call on one of them here?
I think you can call on one of them who has been at your elbow throughout this.
So I will turn to, help me, name generator. You're my only hope. Tola. She's standing there next to me. And I'll say, Tola here. I think she can find you a way out. If you would be willing to seal our bargain.
If I am taken out of this place, then yes, certainly.
Yes. And when you're out, you will support our bargains.
I will
Help the Novgorodi get back what is theirs.
I will tell you 2 places to find what you desire, and I will lay my blessing upon the land in your dealings against the Fae. That is what I promise you.
Put out a hand.
And he reaches out his very, very cold hand to shake with you.
Damn Northman.
We'll come back and see how the under orders things work for that, because there is a move for that as you put your followers to work. Viadomos hands you back the spear, Ekaterina, and it is much heavier now.
Yeah, she takes it and she's not expecting it to be heavier. So she, when he puts it into her hands, she's a little bit surprised, but she, tries to maintain composure. Does it feel heavier, or does it feel more premium in any way?
Yeah, more potent, more solid.
Yeah.
Like it is more than just a spear now.
Yeah. Ekaterina takes it and she kneels down again and she goes, "Thank you, Lord. It is greatly appreciated by myself and by the horse lords."
It's whatever. Go. It just needed to be fixed. That is how these things work. Rojni looks at you, Dadushka.
Uh-huh. Well, I've been fascinated by watching Ekaterina and the spear.
The Fae have 3 masters that live these days.
They have woken.
They have woken. They move. Each carries its own weapon. One is in your lands already. Another one is hidden away, but their bonds will snap soon, given how much they have dug into the earth where the place lies in flames. And the last one walks in Sneadosh. Each bears a blade. One bears the blade of Desire. The other bears the blade of Night. And the other bears the blade of Starfall. Know these things.
I should remember.
The hour grows late.
Why did they call the man with the blade of Nicodios?
They did not. He came to fight against them.
Oh, gods. I have done something terrible.
No, you were under orders. You were loyal to your king. Your weapon must be counsel now. Go. Soon the crow will cry. You must be out of here before then.
Thank you, great lord. And I'll look back over again to Yekaterina. Thank you for everything.
And raises a hand and gestures for you to go.
Come, we must leave this place. And I'll kind of look over towards Tormund, who I have been paying no attention to at all.
Tormund, one of his assistants, is with him, but they're always with him, okay.
What have you... we have to go.
Yes, we should not wander too long in the lands of the dead, lest we find it hard to get out.
Yes.
Tormod, please roll under orders. How many tags do your followers have? 2?
They have 2, Hardy and Shadowy.
Then roll with a +2.
That's a 6 + 2 is 8.
So I think you will get out. You will walk out. You will come out onto the path where the horsemen are. You will hear the sound as the guard, shuts the gate. And you will look back, and it really is that you see just Palmacy. You don't see Tola.
Yeah, I think as we mount back up, there's like a frantic conversation between Tormund and 2 of the Outriders who go like riding off in a different direction, and as we get going again, there's for some reason an extra horse.
And you all can ride out of here. There is the sound, like you can almost hear the sound of dawn, and with it, like the Fae, like the patrol of them. You will have to ride fast before it. The light of the lantern illuminating, get back to that boatman who, when you pull coins out, raises his hand as if to say, you've already paid for the return trip, and he will punch you across this body of water. This time, you can see and hear the Rusalka and the naiads beneath the waves as they kind of whisper up at you now that you've seen the gods. And they run their fingers along the outside edges of the boat. You see Palmacy, Tormund kind of poke at them, and they draw back. And they stay away from Ekaterina and that spear, very much so. And when you get back across the other side and dismount, that tradesman is gone, and you get not too far away from this dock, and the the fog kind of lifts even as it is getting to dusk, to sundown. And though it felt like only a few hours, it seems to have taken the entire day. And I think you can return to Licelli.
We have learned much. Falling back is probably best.
See now, though, why your arbiter is so interested in this land. I mean, a resource, a natural wealth is one thing, but to return the gods' force to your kingdom?
They will not return.
There are always ways. There are always different routes.
We will
What
forge new gods. I'm sorry, Ekaterina.
what authority does a human being have to revive a god? If they are gone, then perhaps they are gone.
What authority does a god have without humans to worship it?
Your northern ways. I shan't say blasphemous, for that should be a bit insulting. So I shall say nothing.
I'm just saying, if the world worked off of magic that had no personality, there would be no gods and the land would do it as it will. But the gods, they are people. They have minds, they have desires, they have faults, and they can be dealt with. A simple
Yes.
exchange, well, maybe not simple, but everything in life is an exchange.
Torment. You sound more like Voldemort every day. Ekaterina, you were blessed.
Indeed, it is curious to for something so primal to see you in such a way. It is a curious feeling.
It speaks to your quality. We must prepare ourselves. We'll fall back because I think that soon we must drive these Fey Lords out.
So, each of you has been given, there's more on Tormod's thing, but we'll come back to that. But each of you has been given access, if you wish to enact it at some point going future, to a different surplus. Certainly for you, Dadushka, if you wish the surplus of attunement for your people, you know there are ways to do that now. It would take some questing and so on, but you could do that. You know how to do that. For you, there, Ekaterina, it is prestige. That if you can show this weapon, that this will gain you respect throughout your own people and throughout the people of the land. This is the other dukes and things, they have magic weapons, but nothing like this. This is an artifact, a relic. And certainly for you, there, Tormod, that you already have some surpluses, but you have access, if you follow some of the suggestions that Pomacy makes, to gain yourself a surplus of trade. And then he will let you ask, and he will give you hints as to the locations, the opportunities for 2 other things, and I'll let you decide what those will be. The cost will be the nightmares that you have. Tola in a cold, cold place. But you come from a cold place, so you know that's how it's all good. So we'll come back to Licelli. Let's maybe, do we want to move back up to the family level and kind of see what the families are doing, what the next steps are? We'll assume that you head your different ways. We can always flash back to conversations between you in the future, but you know there's much on the table, and there's still much to be done for the Arbiters project. While the Arbiters project of bringing Sneadosh into the Empire was troubled at the start, it is a way to gain some control over this. So it is not entirely foolish, not entirely. But let's start with you, Dadushka, and the teachers of the ancient truth.
Can I ask,
Mm-hmm.
what are the surpluses of the church?
What are the surpluses of the church? Let me look. I have to open that up. Hang on a second. Can I hit that button? Oh, thank you for being so small. Come on. God dang it. Unhide. Where's unhide? Thank you. The surpluses are missionaries, literature, wealth, and morale. I started to say morale some other way, and then I kind of leaned into the actual pronunciation. Morale. It's like when the people from Heartpoint podcast pronounce my name Lowell.
I think I'm actually stuck on the house, though. I have to wait till a season before I could do much to keep the land I have, right?
Well, they still can do things. It's just that there's a good deal of their energy, concentrated on that. So manpower and things are a little more daunting. But if you want to do other things, research, diplomacy, subterfuge, those are all things that can be done.
Can I, what I think I want to do is I'm going to try and call it a debt on them. Can I do that?
Oh, yes. Let's see. They owe you a debt?
They do.
They do. Absolutely. So when you call in a debt on a house, gain advantage, take a surplus, sneeze, get them to back you up. What is it you want?
I want to use those missionaries to be spies for the Arbiter down there.
Interesting. I think it's an NPC house. I think you spend that debt. Tell me what that looks like. How is that phrased? Give me the scene that we see of that montage of your people going to the church and saying, these people need to come over to us. We need to send them down.
I think that, for cinematic purposes, we see a bit of writing, a letter that comes to the young lady who speaks, who converses with Dadushka most, where he implies that he's given to the church and that maybe we have something to call on. And so it's her that goes to meet with one of the higher-ups there. And she begins by, being subtle, quiet and pleasant, spreading the word. I know that you've had what's going on here in our kingdom be difficult, but to the south we have whole new lands. We can help you. Go there. Spread your word. All we want is to send along with you one of our minstrels. It will help you. And of course, we want to learn what's going on there, the same as you do. Together we can help the Arbiter, right? And that's what we're all here for.
And I think one of the things is that you're pretty clear that you know how much those people are spies, because they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and you spend that, and you will put that pressure on them to do that. Now, what is your mood right now?
My mood is -2.
-2.
Now, hopefully at the end of this season, I'll go up to -1 because my land will fall in.
Yeah, well, you have the land. It's just to be fully secure, they have to stay till next season. So you
Okay, so
actually have
-1.
Okay. So for logistics, now you've got to move those mercenaries, and there's logistics things. When your mood is a -1, you have to make one choice off the logistics thing.
Okay.
You either need consent from someone. It'll take a while. It will only happen at the start of next season. The delivery stalls, the GM says, what's needed to get it moving again. Or you push yourselves to make it happen and gain a need of the GM's choice.
I can't do that one.
No.
All right. Who must it travel through? Whose consent do I need?
I think that you will need the consent of the Lord of Azdabiak.
Oh, is that her?
That is the figure who, with the recruits and the weapons, and they are kind of hanging out there.
All right. What do I have to do to get that consent?
I think so. We understand that Azdabiak is doing what they do because they're a little venal, we want to say. So I think that you need to give them face. You need to give them honor. You need to make them. You need to make Azdabiak feel like they are important.
Then how about surely there is somewhere in there a noble or prince or someone who could be married, right?
Interesting.
And I'll do my hallowed house move to make that a really grand ceremony, a watchstone by the gods, a marriage of true significance to the kingdom.
Is there a role on that, or is that just a happen thing?
It is a straight up. There's no role to it.
Okay.
It is that I am. When we come in, we officiate the significant ceremonies.
So, what kind of figure do you marry to this Lord of Azdabiak, who's basically barbarian?
I think that there is, and you can play with this how you will. I think there's a very old family back there in Achekognaya who probably has a wonderful lineage and is well, is well taught, is knowledgeable, and is significant amongst the house. And we ask if she will do this. And there is never a point where we try to fool her or her family. She is aware that this is a political marriage that we know will put her in a place not of glorious learning and wondrous space like here at home. But we will all be stronger for this, my dear.
I think as much as anything, it is that Lord Azdabiak realizes that he is getting the better end of the deal here, and that he'd better be good about this, because people don't really think that much of him, and this is a real chance. And I think he will have to be incredibly gracious about these things. But I think you'll be able to secure that passage that you require for those spies.
And their children will be taught by the very best. They will be knowledgeable.
Yes, learning, knowledge, writing, all that. Yes.
Yes. Tie the knots.
So who should we go to? Ekaterina next or Tormod next? Ekaterina, we've missed you for a little bit here. Am I right? I've kind of lost track of how we were doing this.
Uh, I wouldn't say miss me, but yeah,
Let's
you
do you,
go.
and then we'll come back to Tormod.
All right. Yeah. So I think Ekaterina.
Look at that.
Oh, we're at the
spear.
house level now. So I think the horse lords. The horse lords are probably going to call on the arbiter for help. Is that a character move or is that a house move?
So there are sort of two sides to this. When you do it as a when you request assistance from the arbiter, you roll plus favor, and that's it's a favor move, so it's more like a family move.
Okay.
But there is also you can also ask for the arbiter's agent to come and help you, which is a little bit like a character level thing, and you drop your favor by 1, and they come and help you out.
Okay, I see. Yeah, well, I feel like actually, I think what the horse lords are doing probably is regrouping and trying to replenish and shore up their defenses now that they have repelled the outriders of the all somethings. I forget the second one.
Yeah, those guys. Al
Yeah,
Sharika.
the Al Sharik. Yeah. So I think the horse lords are probably going to try to replenish their strength. You know.
So you go to the arbiter and you ask for the go to the court, and he's pleased. The sheep are wonderful. We have a breeding pair. I've sent them out to my herdsman. The wool will be rated as fine and wondrous as I was told. And you wish me to aid you with troops.
Yes.
Let's have you go ahead and roll plus favor.
All right. Roll plus favor. My favor is +2. And that is 10.
You have done well by us. When we chastised you, you went and immediately did what we asked. And we admire that. You took that to heart. And we have heard tell of the losses that you suffered from the Al Sharika. We will grant you these soldiers. We will grant you these troops until winter comes. And then we'll take them back into our fold. So effectively, he'll give you the surplus until the end of the age.
Okay.
And do know that these are my men, so they will be telling me what goes on.
Mm.
I'd be open with you about that.
The horse lords agree. As they leave with their own, lithe and small, like step horses, and then these big burly war horses riding out with them.
So that you're still at a 3, it looks like.
I am now. I
Good.
have 4. Yeah, 4 and 1.
I thought we were going to bump you up and have that roll, but that seems real. Yeah, you go to the capital. Do you show the spear, or are you saving that?
That is, I'm saving for now.
Okay.
That is still up my sleeve.
Yeah, because you can certainly turn that around for some interesting things there. Let's come to Tormod.
So first of all, going off of my family's doctrine of protecting our investment, would freeing Pomacy count as protecting a key resource only found in this land?
F yeah.
Nice. So that gains me a trust with my patron, and I'm gonna turn around and spend that on 1,000 eyes. Your agents are spread throughout the land, giving you intimate knowledge of each faction's operations. When you activate agents within another house's seat of power, spend 1 trust, give the subject a huge roll advantage.
Okay.
So I would like to activate that, send some people into Ozdabiak.
Okay.
And I'm assuming he has some form of like defenses or defensive asset.
Absolutely, yeah. Not as well kept up as it ought to have been.
I'm trying to send some loyal people in there to find me ways, either through it, around it, or like to bust down their defenses. Sort of what my subterfuge is going for.
Let's have you roll subterfuge then.
All right. I'm not a -1 on this, and I have advantage.
There's almost no chance that you could fail.
I rolled it before you said that. That's a 13.
Yeah. So, holy cow. Let's. I think that they can get people into positions so that they have control over the gates. They control access into and out of the city. It will take some time, but they buy and bribe, and if you need to, you can have the gates thrown open to whoever you want, or you can have the gates shut so that no one can come in or out whenever you wish.
Nice.
You like that?
I do like that.
Pomacy says, What else do you need? I promised you 2 things. You now know how you can get your trade. You have to go and do some talking and things like that, and you'll get that into your house. But now, what 2 things do you need?
I need for things to continue forward in Sneadosh and to fold that land into the kingdom.
Yes.
I need transports.
Transports.
And, of course, scouts to keep up with the movements of the Fae.
Interesting. Well, I tell you what. I know a guy. And you will need reliable, fast horses.
Not a problem.
Okay, that's what you want. That's the thing you want. All right. I will tell you. I will give you a token. If you go into the mountains, up above where the forge is, you will find the sleeper on the mountain. Give him this token, and he will get you beasts that are agile and swift.
how should I find or know this sleeper when I find him?
Oh, I think you'll know. It's one of those mythic things. You've got to walk up there. It's a quest time thing.
Oh, I see. One of those
Yeah.
like you'll know it when you see it.
Yes.
It's hard to
Yes.
miss these sort of things.
Intangibles. I don't like them, but there we are. That's the word we're in.
I do myself prefer hard currency, but yes, thank you.
But the other thing you wish, I know that there is a bandit by the name of Tinkovich. Lately he was in the north, but he has moved to the Southlands. He's moved to the Southlands because they want to hang him in the north. He has a good billet of people with him. He can be convinced to come into your service. He will act as scout, be useful. He's desperate, hungry, but he's a man who keeps to his word, despite being a villain at heart.
And when you say he's fleeing from the north, the world has much north.
It's your north.
I see.
Here's the thing is, when you show up as a Novgorodi, he will be peeing his little pants. You come in with him, bring some people with you, you make the deal, he will obey.
I suppose only new tools are spotless.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that one.
Thank you. I believe our relationship is off to a very good footing.
Yes.
Forward to working more deals with you in the future.
We will see if that happens. I must go. I have much to do around the land, but you'll see me again.
I'm sure you'll be very busy spreading your blessings.
Yes, I will be. First, I have to find my brother.
Do I know anything about a brother of the merchant god?
Yeah, there's the one who walks behind the trees. The sort of weird, wicked trickster guy.
Fine, it's probably fine. I mean, he's locked up down in that court, almost certainly. How could Palmacy even find him?
Bye. Dadushka. Let's come back to you.
I will be going to
Also, I'm going to pause you right here. I'm going to put a tick on progress because you have delivered spies.
That is exactly what I was going to go to the arbiter and say. We have these. And Cormand is the head of the council. He's the one that does all of the obsequious kissing of the feet of Ileana. Is that her name?
Yeah.
He's the one that has to do the toe sucking.
Yes.
We have provided you with as much information as we are able. It should provide you with a great deal more to go on. Lord Arbiter, Lord Arbiter.
We are blessed that someone is making progress on this project.
Well, the teachers have always stood solidly behind the throne.
Yes, well, we will look upon you favorably.
If
I wish I could look upon you more favorably, but you're already at the max favorably, I can look upon you.
Well, since you mention it, I have something that it would be a great benefit to us. The Citadel of Biblios, once a place of oppression for our entire kingdom, now it sits there near vacant. Inside of it are so many records, but so much paper. Our people, We have so much to teach. We merely need the materials to write it upon.
Roll with favor.
Ooh. Oh, it changed. Damn you. Well, it became an 8.
Like we were finding out before, sometimes one of the dice doesn't roll until after the others.
Oh,
It goes,
was foul. Well, it's an 8.
So I think that he will, well, the arbiter listens and he says, this is great. This is great because I have been working on a epic poem narrating the fall of the empire. And I am nearly done with it. It's taken the last 4 or 5 years to complete. So, yes, you may have the vellum, but a portion of it must be made, given over to your scribes and copyists, and we must have this book copied out, illuminated, put into a brilliant edition, and copies must be made for each of the houses and for each of the wardens, and then copies to be sent to make an impression on all of the neighboring crowns.
Well, absolutely, of course. A true heir of Nikolikos you have been, and your glory must be spread.
The glory of all of us, not just me.
All of us,
I just
of
happened to
course.
write it up.
Well, and so well you did it.
Yes. It is abhorrent. When you look at it,
Mhm.
it is doggerel verse. It is slant rhyme and doggerel verse. The enjambment is terrible on the lines, the breaks. He tries to do in parts, he's doing couplets, and then he moves on to other rhyme schemes. But it's long.
What it makes up for in quality, it has in quantity.
Yes.
I don't suppose we can discuss maybe having folks do some editing?
That will require a subterfuge move later on.
Okay.
This is the strings that are attached. You're going to have to figure out, because right now you're going to have to put your name on what is a truly terrible book of verse.
And we will do so gladly. But that gives us surplus vellum.
Yes, it does.
Hoorah.
Katerina, you've taken care of the soldiers. Is there anything else on your plate now?
Is there anything else on my plate? I think that I would like, let's see. I think that Yekaterina would like to read the wind, right?
Okay.
I think her encounter with the Fae means that she wants to pursue a little bit more of a spiritual tack.
Interesting.
And she wants, so I think the Horse Lords are going to read the wind for, we'll see.
Let's have you roll reach, and then we'll have you ask the question.
Yeah. That is a 8 plus reach, which is a 0. So that is an 8.
8. So you get one question.
So I'm going to ask, how do we get access to the traditions that we have?
Access to the traditions. Like the old faith stuff, the old faith rules?
Like our actual traditions, our magical traditions.
Well, I will tell you what. You know that when the new church came in, during the time of the Empire and before. They overwrote a lot of things, but the traditions had already begun to fade even before that. It's not like they took over or anything,
Yeah.
and like stomped the other ones down. But you do know that the church is devoted to, recording those things, and so in their fastness at that island holding, you have heard that they have some of the most complete collections of the old texts, perhaps even more than the teachers do. But the teachers have, like, they're the ones who know it and can speak it. If you're looking for sort of the written word and the the that sort of specific concrete thing, the church can provide that. Otherwise, it's the teachers. Does that seem like a fair answer to that?
Yes, I think it does.
Okay. Tormod.
Well, I mean, it would be a shame to let opportunities that I've laid out there go to waste. So I think I'm heading towards Ozdabiak. And,
Okay.
I don't have a ton of men, but it doesn't take a ton of men when the tactless idiot in charge leaves his back door open.
Let's have you claim by force.
Do we get any bonus for taking out his defenses?
Yeah, I think you can roll with advantage.
Nice. Good Lord, that's a 13.
So choose one of those claim by force things.
Rewatching the video from last time, I was very upset with myself that I unknowingly passed up an opportunity to add to turmoil. It's even got a capital T.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think ousting the like little duke of this land or baron or whatever he is and causing a turnover caused a bit of chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Turmoil is now equal to control.
Probably doesn't mean anything important.
Let's see what happens when turmoil goes equal to control. Not yet. One more, and then a problem happens.
See? Nothing.
There you go. So yeah, you will seize Azdabiak. You will gain control of that. I think this is actually a decent place for us to stop. Does this seem like
One more thing in that?
Yes, please.
So taking Ozdabiak,
You will get one of those two, I think, free and clear right now for recruits or weapons. And then next time, I think we'll have to have you narrate to get the other one in play. Does that seem fair?
yes, but so I'll take the recruits, which gets rid of my need for recruits.
Yes.
But could I possibly spend my surplus of coin to convince even more to come to actually get a surplus of recruits?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Because just picking up those recruits will just erase my need.
Right. So when your character claims or creates a significant resource for your house, you can add it as surplus. So yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. So I will erase those recruits, erase that coin, and get some recruits as surplus, which I can then take down to the project.
Yes. We're making progress. Tyler?
I kind of want to ask,
Sure.
Are we reaching an end of a season? Can we hit an end of a season so I can go and have that land transfer over?
What do you guys think? We could roll that now, or we could roll at the beginning of the next session. Catherine, are you okay with moving on to the next season, the next court thing?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Okay. What about you, Tormod?
Sure, I have a move for court.
Okay. Do you want to do that now, Tyler, or you want to do it at the start?
I would love for us to hit that. And would it be completely greedy of me to say I sleep out in the wild at one night as I head home?
That doesn't seem too bad.
Okay, thank you. That's just an adding to my visions.
Absolutely. Let's Actually, I do want to hold the court and started next time because that's such a good like kickoff point for things. So we'll hold off on that. So we'll stop there. We'll do that. We may get the project done next time, or things may go terribly wrong. As we've seen that. We did a little click up on the Doom there. Do you mind doing a quick stars and wishes so we'll get kind of a sense of direction and so on? So let's start with wishes, just in sense of things you'd like to see more of, things we didn't hit as much as we'd like to see, and or things that you definitely want to see, coming up that you just like, I want to see this, I've got to get this on screen. Tyler, do you mind if we start with you?
Not at all. Wishes, I want to see a turning of age.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're hitting it. I want to see this project get resolved. But for me personally, I really am interested in kind of letting Dadushka move up to figuring out something's really wrong with the teachers, that they've lost their way. And I've been playing them as all sycophantic to the Arbiter, where Dadushka really does not think the Arbiter's great. I don't know how you want to have that come out, but I'd like to have some sort of view of that.
Okay.
Whether Dadushka's wrong or not.
And that certainly clicks into some of the role stuff, changing on. So that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Anything else?
No, I think I gave a bunch.
Okay. Josh, wishes?
Yeah, wishes, I agree. I think we're pretty well poised. Next session, we might be able to finish the project, turn the age. I'm interested in seeing how that turns out. I am looking forward to seeing how just how our characters become further entangled. I think it is easier for me to wrap my head around character level play, right? And as a player, I wish I was more comfortable with house level play, which is not a fault of you or me. I think it's just I'm not that used to the system. So I don't know. My wishes for myself.
There's a real disconnect sometimes between what your character wants and what your house needs to do, and that's hard.
Yeah. So my wish for myself is to, get better in that separation between character and house. But all in all, I think we're on a good path forward. So
good. Patrick, wishes?
I'm definitely into this weird, like, dead gods and crazy Fey lords with weird weapons thing. And I suppose specifically along that, I'm looking forward to going on the, I'm sure, problem-free quest that Pomacy has set up for me. Absolutely no issues or troubles there.
Absolutely, you're a mountaineer.
I'm very much looking forward to the court. I haven't seen that move, and I haven't seen the Arbiter yet. So I'm really interested in figuring out like where I hook in with that beyond my directions to support the Arbiter's project. And then I just really want to find a bad reason to go to the Lost Island.
Okay.
It just seems like a fun place.
I'm not sure what I should have said you should get your scouts from. You need to do a jailbreak, and then they'll all... Awesome. Okay, well, that gives me good stuff to work with. Tyler, let me swing back around. Stars?
God, it's a constellation. I want to say, first off, Lowell, this was super neat. us going down there and the revelation that it was not Fae, but was these gods, was spectacular. I mean, it was it hit me very viscerally. I know it hit Dadushka very viscerally. It was beautiful. That was so nicely done. And then, it's a hell of a lot to GM all of these very complicated pieces and parts. So all of it was spectacular. This was a really first-rate session.
Oh,
excellent job.
Good. I'm glad you liked that. I will admit a lot of it is my background in running Glorantha and RuneQuest. That there's a lot of that sort of HeroQuest stuff from there that I have in the back of my mind when those things happen.
Well, it was tight. Josh, I so missed you because I love you and your character is spectacular as well. I thank you so much for letting me kind of put this hero gonna be lifted up mantle that I'm kind of playing with, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. You do the most spectacular job with this character. She is fascinating. And, I haven't gotten to play with you before the first time we're playing together, but you're a spectacular role player, and that character is marvelous. It is such a joy to play with you every single time. Patrick Tormund is magnificent. I play with you all the fucking time. And this is a neat character for you because he's a little different from a lot of things you play. He's sneaky, which you play a bit, but he's also kind of driven by a higher purpose, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like this playbook a lot, but you down there in the crypt and making that deal was, that was everything and more. We were told, don't take anyone. Of course, there you are. And for very good reasons. And, kind of a start of you and Lowell together. That poor soul that gets left there. Oh,
yeah.
That was so good. So, huge stars to all three of you. I missed Jesse, but I thought we had a really, really good session today. And of course, Valdemar had influence over a lot of what we did.
Yeah.
So Jesse's presence was still felt.
Absolutely. Josh, stars?
Yeah. I agree with everything. I had a wonderful time playing tonight. Specifically, Patrick, we haven't played before. And sometime, I unfortunately missed last week, but sometimes, when a new character is introduced and, you're a couple sessions in, it just feels a little bit awkward interacting with them, and I didn't feel that at all. I just felt like we immediately were able to roleplay together, and I was very thankful for that. So, stars to you.
Awesome. Patrick, stars?
Similarly, I really enjoyed getting to play with you, Josh. It was nice to meet you. I like Ekaterina. She's sort of a badass. She's a lot of a badass. But I just like this whole feel of like the history and tradition of the horse lords of the steppes and that sort of thing. I think that feels really cool. I'm excited. I want to go dig into that stuff more and see what your homeland is like. Tyler, I really enjoyed getting to see some like sneakier sides out of Dadushka. Last time Dadushka was just very like straightforward and friendly and above board, and we talked about some things where like Tormund sometimes like tricked you or got things over on you. So it was nice to see the sort of like other more competent, more capable side of Dadushka out there getting shit done. And Lowell, I'll just echo again. Like I said, I love the god stuff. There was only like a minute of description on those weird Fey Lords, and I want to know everything about them. I want to see their weapons and what they do, steal them and break them down, maybe melt them into something valuable. But I just I liked the sort of like lost in the mist fairy tale air of a lot of this session, which was a very different feel than the like home and hearth we had last time, and then this time around that fairy tale stuff we had a lot of like political and martial machinations, and so it was just this very distinct little like floating bubble in the middle of the story that was really fun.
Good. I'm glad all of you dug it. I had a good time running it, and it was a pleasure to have you guys play around with it. So I will see everybody next week. We'll do the court move forward, and it will be awesome. I am going to stop recording.